All right, good afternoon. I will start off with a statement from the Secretary General on the just concluded meetings on plastics in Geneva. And I can tell you that the Secretary General deeply regrets that despite earnest efforts, negotiations to reach an internationally legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including maritime environment, concluded without achieving a consensus. He welcomes the determination of member states in continuing to work to beat plastic pollution and keep engaged on the process, united in purpose to deliver the treaty that the world needs to tackle the monumental challenges to people and the environment. And that statement is being shared with you as we speak. Travel announcement for you. The Secretary General will be heading to Japan next week to attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, otherwise known and better known as TCAD. The conference, which is always led by Japan and co-hosted by the United Nations, the UN Development Program, the World Bank, and the African Union Commission. This year it will take place in Yokohama from the 20th to the 22nd of August under the theme Co-Create Innovation Solutions with Africa. In the remarks that he will deliver at the opening session of the conference, the Secretary General will underscore the importance of TCAD as it highlights the potential of Africa, the world's youngest population, with abundant natural resources and a vibrant entrepreneurial spirit. While in Japan, the Secretary General is also expected to hold bilateral meetings with Japanese leaders and delegations attending the TCAD meetings in Yokohama. Before leaving Japan, the Secretary General will also visit Expo 2025, which is being taking place in Osaka, and he will visit a number of pavilions, including, of course, the UN's own pavilion there, and then he will head back to New York. Also traveling to Japan will be Jean-Pierre Lacroix, the Undersecretary General for Peace Operations. Mr. Lacroix will be in Tokyo for bilateral meetings with counterparts in the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Cabinet Office on International Peace Cooperation. On the 21st of August, he will participate in a TCAT side event titled Towards a Mine-Free Africa launch event on the African Mine Action Platform with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, the Cambodian Mine Action Center, and the United Nations Mine Action Service. Senior personnel appointment to share with you. The Secretary General is appointing Robert Joseph van der Zee of the Netherlands to serve as his acting representative for the investment of the assets of the UN Joint Staff Pension Fund. That will start on 16th August until February 15, 2026. Tori Shindu, the Chief Investment Officer in the Joint Staff Pension Fund, is serving as acting representative of the Secretary General until the 15th August 2025. And a global open regular competitive selection process to find a permanent person for that post is underway. Currently serving as the Chief Financial Officer of the World Food Program in Italy, Mr. van der Zee brings 30 years of experience across various financial management roles. He possesses extensive and in-depth organizational and financial knowledge and expertise, along with a strong track record of senior leadership in both financial services and industry and international organizations. Moving on to Gaza. And I can tell you that we once again warned that the already dire situation could worsen without a reliable, rapid, safe, and unrestricted flow of supplies into the Gaza Strip. We and our humanitarian partners report that ongoing delays and other impediments, including bottlenecks at holding points and interference in the loading process at the platforms, are impacting our efforts to collect supplies from the crossings and bring them to people in need. Yesterday, 5 out of 12 missions requiring coordination with Israeli authorities were facilitated without impediments. They include the collection of supplies from Karim Shalom, Karim Abu Salam, and the transferring of fuel to the north. 4 missions were canceled by the organizers, 3 others were impeded, and only 1 fully accomplished. These included collections of food aid from Zikim and Karim Shalom crossings. And on the starvation crisis in Gaza, more deaths are being reported, including many children who are regularly admitted to hospitals for malnutrition. The World Health Organization warns that many healthcare facilities have run out of bed space to treat malnourished patients. Access to healthcare must be restored immediately. We continue to receive extremely disturbing reports of aid seekers being killed and injured. Between the 27th and August 8th, the Red Cross Field Hospital in Rafah treated more than 4,500 wounded patients, most of whom reported that they were injured while trying to reach food distribution sites. People also report being injured in the crush of the crowd or being beaten and robbed of their supplies immediately after receiving them. It is imperative that we and our humanitarian partners are enabled to deliver aid at scale, using community-based mechanisms to reach the most vulnerable. Without those conditions in place, and if military operations continue or escalate, more deaths, forced displacement, destructions are inevitable. This could prolong the ordeal of the hostages also being held in the Strip. And we once again call for their immediate and unconditional release. One can only imagine that people in Gaza are gravely concerned by the potential impact of the expansion of operations in Gaza City. We reiterate that we will not participate in any forced displacement of the population. Fleeing civilians must be protected, and they must have their essentials needs met, and they must be able to voluntarily return when the situation allows. And if they choose to stay, they should not be threatened or put at risk. And just to note that although the slight easing on the entry of commercial supplies has led to food price drops, as we've been telling you, energy prices, on the other hand, have skyrocketed. Cooking gas has not been available in markets for the past 5 months, and firewood has become even less affordable. More people are resorting to using waste and scrap wood as alternative fuel sources for cooking, which only makes worse health and protection risks, causes environmental hazards. Partners working on food security warn that both the quantity and quality of supplies entering Gaza remain far below minimum requirements to meet most people's needs. Turning to Ukraine, our colleagues at the Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs tell us that today a humanitarian convoy delivered vital aid to the front line in the Kherson region. Our humanitarian and resident coordinator for Ukraine, Matthias Schmale, led this convoy, which was organized by UN agencies and various of our humanitarian partners. They were able to deliver 30 metric tons of medicine, water, and hygiene and dignity kits for nearly 500 civilians. Our humanitarian colleagues stressed that this assistance remains vital, noting that both civilians and humanitarians are facing growing insecurity in the area, including from drone attacks. So far this year, we, along with our partners, have sent 18 humanitarian convoys to the front line communities in Kherson, carrying supplies to support nearly 20,000 residents. Yesterday, humanitarian coordinator, together with our partners, were in the Mykolaiv region, visiting the site of recent attacks and seeing recovery and development projects. This year, the Ukraine Humanitarian Fund, which is the largest country-based pooled fund in the world, has provided $7 million, mostly to local NGOs, to deliver time-critical humanitarian support to 35,000 people in the Mykolaiv region. Meanwhile, the ongoing hostilities are causing further displacement in the Donetsk region as the security situation worsens near the front lines town of Pokrovsk. Local authorities said that yesterday alone, nearly 5,700 civilians, including families with children, were evacuated in the Donetsk region. As noted by Matthias Schmale, donor support remains critical as aid organizations continue to assist people fleeing hostilities, those remaining in frontline communities. Turning to Afghanistan, our humanitarian colleagues warned that more than half of the population needs vital aid 4 years after the de facto Taliban authorities took over the country. Women and girls, as we've been saying repeatedly, are especially vulnerable in Afghanistan. As you are aware, the de facto authorities have imposed a series of increasingly restrictive policies which have excluded women and girls from education, the workforce, and public life. Humanitarian aid is a lifeline for women and girls who are otherwise unable to access essential services and assistance. The continued presence of humanitarian workers in Afghanistan is also a vital form of protection by presence. OCHA also warns that the needs are increasing by the number of returnees to Afghanistan, how that number is swelling, both from Iran and Pakistan. Since the start of this year, 1.7 million citizens have returned in the country from Iran and Pakistan. Most have limited ties to local communities and are struggling to find shelter and economic opportunities. Host communities themselves also lack adequate services and resources. To support the response, the Central Emergency Fund recently released $10 million, and additional funding is in the pipeline from the Afghan Humanitarian Fund. Yet, in the wake of deep funding cuts, more resources are needed to ensure that people's needs are met. The humanitarian community in Afghanistan is already preparing for another influx of returnees following the recent deadlines by the government of Pakistan for Afghan proof of registration card holders to leave the country by September 1st. Meanwhile, almost all provinces in Afghanistan have seen below average rainfall this year, with drought alerts issued across the northern, northeast, and central highlands and western regions. OCHA also stresses that additional funding is urgently needed to support the people of Afghanistan. This year's humanitarian needs response plan was just 25% funded, with less than $624 million received as out of the $2.4 billion that are needed. Turning to the worsening situation in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, our humanitarian colleagues say that insecurity is on the rise in the Jugu territory in Ituri province. According to local authorities, our humanitarian partners on the ground, over the past months, clashes between various armed groups and the Congolese armed forces in several areas have resulted in almost 50 civilian deaths and more than 30 injured in Ituri province. During the same period, violence and insecurity has displaced more than 80,000 human beings in Jugu. Homes have been looted, homes have been burnt, and those who have fled are now sheltering in schools, churches, and other public buildings. Attacks have also targeted 3 sites hosting people who are now internally displaced because of the violence. The clashes have also severely hampered humanitarian access, depriving 250,000 people of essential services. 9 out of the 12 health facilities are now out of service in Nizi Health District in the Ituri territory. We and our humanitarian partners are ready to respond, but we need unimpeded and safe access to these communities. All parties must take urgent measures to protect civilians and facilitate humanitarian access. Civilians must be protected at all times in line with international law. And just to mention an update for you from our own Central Emergency Response Fund, which we talk about here regularly. Today, the Secretary General has appointed a dozen new experts to the group that advises him on where SURF money should go. The body is a total of 23 members from all over the world who serve a single 3-year term. The new set of advisors hail from Azerbaijan, Canada, Cote d'Ivoire, Denmark, Gambia, Germany, Netherlands, Niger, Norway, Qatar, South Africa, and Sweden. Emergency Relief Coordinator Tom Fletcher thanked the outgoing members for their work and congratulated the new cohort. He said that with humanitarian needs outpacing available resources, SURF is more critical now than ever, serving as trusted, indispensable fund to enable rapid, effective response to crisis worldwide. In the first half of this year, SURF allocated $214 million to help people in 24 countries, including to get ahead of the drought in Afghanistan and to back climate resilience in a number of other places. Over the last 19 years, SURF has channeled over $9 billion in life-saving aid to people in need in over 110 countries and territories. This has been made possible by contributions from 143 out of 193 member states, which is not bad, and also observers and other donors. Finally, we got some money today. We have a quiz for you, and it's a good one. This country is the world's largest producer of lang-lang, a plant whose extracts essential oils is key ingredient in the production of many perfumes. That's a tough one, but I'll give you a more interesting geographical one. This country is the only member of the League of Arab States located entirely in the southern hemisphere. It's an archipelago.
It starts with an M?
Nope. The capital of that country starts with an M. No. It's a League of Arab States. Only country. It's an archipelago, so it's at sea, and it's entirely in the southern hemispheres. The Comores. So we thank our friends in Moroni. All right, and we thank David, who came up with this this brilliant quiz today. All right. Yeah, that was very good. Okay. Gabriel, do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, yeah, why not? Let's
keep you at the podium.
Yeah.
Has the Secretary General seen the video of imprisoned Palestinian political leader Marwan Barghouti being essentially interrogated on video? And what is his reaction to it?
I can tell you that the video is disturbing. We're aware of the video, and it's worth reminding that prisoners need to be treated in a way that abides by international law and that respects their inherent dignity.
His family is worried that his safety is in immediate risk, and they're calling on anyone with any influence to protect him as best as they can. Would the Secretary General lend his voice to that call?
I mean, I think he, like any other prisoner, needs to have his rights fully respected, and his safety needs to be ensured. Yes, you, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Stéphane. My question is about SG's travel to Japan. Why did SG decide to attend TICAD in Japan this time? And one more. What are SG's expectations for cooperation between Japan and the African countries and the UN? Thank you.
Well, you know, the Secretary General has always wanted to attend TICAD. Because of scheduling reasons, he hasn't been able to attend every year. You know, the TICAD is a forum that has been extremely important in supporting development issues. I think it also underscores Japan's leadership role in this area, and the fact that it aligns with the development goals that the UN has. And I think that's why you see such a big UN participation in that event. Yes, please.
Since it's a Friday, let me ask you this. For events like the Alaska summits, does the Secretary General follow this event himself?
Or the Alaska Summit? Yes, of course. He'll be following, as we will all be, the events.
Is there a favorite channel, TV channel for him?
He will. The Secretary General is a channel surfer. Okay. On that note, and this being Friday, Iftikhar, are you saying goodbye? Do you have a question? He's saying goodbye. Excellent. All right. Enjoy the weekend. Yep.